here we go. Deals around the clock being made. Sage, Adrian Wojnarowski reporting the Celtics and the Orlando Magic have finalized a deal for Evan Fournier for 2 second-round picks. Fournier is averaging just under 20 points per game in 26 games this season.
Speaking of the Magic, they're also trading their star center, Nikola Vucevic, and veteran forward Al-Farouq Amino to the Chicago Bulls for Wendell Carter Jr., Otto Porter Jr., and 2 first-round draft picks. That's what sources tell our agent Wojnarowski. So again, Vucevic and Al-Farouq Amino headed to the Windy City. That's not all from the Magic, but first. Yeah, the Nuggets are acquiring JaVale McGee from the Cavs for Isaiah Hartenstein and 2 future protected second-round picks. McGee, 33, averaging 8 points and 5.2 rebounds this year, expected to serve as a backup to Nugget star Nikola Jokic. And back to those Magic, because they are close to trading Aaron Gordon to the Denver Nuggets. They're going to trade Gordon for Gary Harris, apparently is the deal. Magic also sending Gary Clark to the Nuggets. Gordon averaging 14.6 points per game and over 6 rebounds, and he's a former 4th overall pick of the Magic back in 2014, and looks like he is changing cities. Yeah, Sage, it has been a busy hour or so since the last time we had senior NBA insider Adrian Wojnarowski, who broke every single one of those trades that we just detailed. And Woj, I think we're sitting here, we're like, look at the Magic making all of these moves and having these players depart their roster. Why are they dumping so many players here before the deadline?
Well, they're headed toward a rebuild in Orlando, and the Aaron Gordon deal bringing back a 2025 first-round pick. And so, they now have, with the Fournier trade, 2 second-round picks. They're in position now in Orlando, to start reshaping their roster. And obviously, the most significant move that they made today, Nikola Vucevic to the Bulls for 2 first-round picks. So they come away with 3 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks. I think there's more deals even to be done in Orlando today. Markelle Fultz, Jonathan Isaacs, 2 of their young players they have under contract. And now they've got a lot of assets to start retooling that roster in Orlando. Yeah, and you point that out, the draft picks. That's how some of these franchises like to rebuild, acquire some draft picks that hopefully turn into some lottery picks for them. And we're now under 2 hours to the trade deadline. Woj, biggest name out there, Lonzo Ball, you could argue is one of them. But Kyle Lowry, we're all waiting and watching. What's the latest with him? Well, we also reported, one of the most significant deals of the day, Norman Powell to the Portland Trail Blazers for Gary Trent Jr. and Rodney Hood. And now Toronto is turning its attention to Kyle Lowry. And Philadelphia has acquired George Hill in a 3-team trade, I'm told. So Philadelphia, that's their point guard move. And so Philly is out for Kyle Lowry. And, teams like Miami, the Lakers have been involved with Toronto. I think there's still some others they're talking to. But this is going to be, I think it's going to be the story now as we head into the final 2 hours before the trade deadline. Yep, you guys broke the Norman Powell news, and that was one of the players we expected on the move, but now we will wait and watch. 2 hours left. Woj standing by in case anything breaks. Adrian Wojnarowski with us. Thank you. Let's bring in our NBA champion, Kendrick Perkins, back with us on SportsCenter. So you just heard Woj Perk and talking specifically about Kyle Lowry. No more Philadelphia, but potentially the Lakers and the Heat, teams that he could be traded to. Let's focus on LA. What would Lowry paired with a healthy LeBron and Anthony Davis, and healthy is the key word there. What would it mean for LA's chances of repeating? What does he bring?
Oh, he brings everything, and it would be devastating to the league if Lowry ends up in LA. Because he would be, now they would actually have a big 3, and he would take a lot of pressure off LeBron James for being that other floor general, getting others involved, and LeBron could rest a little bit, meaning throughout the course of the game, not having to play so many minutes. Kyle Lowry is that guy that could knock down 3-point shots, could play off the ball. He also gets you extra possessions on the defensive end. He is a pit bull. He's one of the best in the league at taking charges. He's a leader. He's a champion. He knows what it takes. He's battle tested. Kyle Lowry to the Lakers would be everything for the Los Angeles Lakers and the Lakers fans.
And Kyle Lowry, by the way, turning 35 years old today. What a gift that would be. Nobody has ever been traded on their birthday. So we'll see if Kyle Lowry goes from Toronto out to Los Angeles. How about those Nuggets, though? Boosting their roster today in several ways by acquiring former Laker JaVale McGee, somebody you know, of course, as well as Aaron Gordon going from Orlando to Denver. So, Perk, what do the moves mean to you going forward for this Nuggets team that's right there in the middle of the pack fighting in that tough Western Conference?
Well, I've been screaming all year long that Jokic needed help, and the front office of the Denver Nuggets did just that. Going out and getting JaVale McGee was huge. I know people don't realize it, but that's a live threat. After losing Plumlee in the offseason to the Pistons, you got JaVale McGee, who you could actually play alongside of Jokic, because Jokic's ability, being able to pop to the three-point line, and JaVale McGee being a live threat, this was a great addition for them. Also, getting Aaron Gordon, a guy that I thought the Celtics should have got. I feel sorry for your loss, Danny Ainge, but this is a guy that also plays well without the ball. A guy with great length on the wing position that could possibly match up with a LeBron James or Kawhi Leonard. Remember, the Nuggets lost a key piece in Jeremy Grant this offseason. So getting Aaron Gordon was huge for them and JaVale McGee. The Nuggets took a tremendous leap at this trade deadline.
And JaVale McGee, always that big presence inside, only averaging about 8 points this season, but still getting it done at 33 years old. So we'll see what happens with Denver, as they've been trying to compete with the top of the West there. We'll see what this does for them and if they're even done. Much more from Perk on The Jump, the trade deadline special. That's right after us here at 2 Eastern on ESPN.
Here, Bobby Marks, front office insider, with us as we count down. Had a couple of big moves earlier in this program. Got a couple of big ones left. Kyle Lowry, one of the biggest names that we are watching because he is in the final year of his contract with Toronto. We know that the organization is working to find him a landing spot. So the landing spot we're going to put him in here, Bobby, is with the Lakers. What I need you to do is I need you to work all the numbers to tell me how Lowry could fit on that roster with LeBron James and Anthony Davis.
Yeah, so for the Lakers, they're hard cap. Right now, they're $1.5 million below the hard cap. In a normal situation, all you had to do is get within 125%, which is $24 million there. But because of that restriction, you're going to basically have to send out about $30 million in contract. You're not trading LeBron. You're not trading AD. You're going to have to trade out 2 starters, and a player like Dennis Schroeder, a player like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. And as I always say, if you're going to be a buyer, you got to be a seller, right? You don't have a first-round pick to trade here. So, Talon Horton Tucker. Laker fans hated me this morning, Matt, when I said his name. But, hey, if you're going to get Kyle Lowry, that's the player that you're going to have to sacrifice. And when you look at this trade, it works. It's a 3-for-1 type trade. He doesn't make you better right now, right? Without LeBron, without AD, he makes you better when we get into mid-May.
That's right.
When we get into playoff time here.
So you're adding $30.5 million in salary. You're getting rid of $29.6 million in salary. Look, help me understand, if you're not a diehard Lakers fan, why they were angry at you with this name.
He's one of your best young players, although he's going to be a restricted free agent. They're voided of draft picks in the future because of the Anthony Davis trade. They can consider him kind of like that next rising rotational player. He's a developmental player. You get rid of him. Kyle's a free agent this summer.
This could be a rental.
Yeah, this could be a 2-month rental. He is not extension eligible, so there's no guarantee that he will be back on your roster. Caldwell-Pope's under contract. Schroeder's a free agent, so this could be a short-term rental for them.
We've heard some other franchises being put out there attached to Lowry. Where do the Lakers rank in those franchises that are out there that are potentially pursuing him?
Well, the 2 other teams are Philadelphia and certainly the Miami Heat. Philadelphia's got 2 first-round picks to trade in a Lowry a deal. They've got Tyrese Maxey, one of their younger players. The Heat are comparable to where the Lakers are. They cannot trade a first-round pick, but now you're looking at, so you're comparing Horton Tucker to a player like Duncan Robinson. The same money would have to go out in a deal, and that's kind of, if you're the Raptors, you're weighing, does it make sense? Horton Tucker, Robinson, 2 ones from Philadelphia. That's a lot of decisions to make.
I tell you what, it is fascinating. 3 p.m. Eastern, trade deadline quickly approaching. Who will Lowry be with? We know Bobby Woj and our entire NBA department has you covered as we get set for the trade.
Today, Adrian Wojnarowski on top of it, as always, and he'll be all over the coverage The Jump Trade Deadline Special, that's at 2 o'clock. He also has special episodes of the Woj Pod and the Low Post Podcast, which are available now. He'll join Zach Lowe on his podcast, and then Zach will join Woj on his podcast. That's what we do here. We're a family. And Woj joins us right now on our show. So Woj, let's just start right here with what feels like, okay, we get that calm before the storm as we feel like some deals could be going down. Am I correct to say that Kyle Lowry might be the linchpin to kind of open up the rest of the action? Is everybody waiting for that first domino?
You don't think it was the DeLon Wright, Corey Joseph trade late last night? You don't think that opened the floodgates, Alan?
Release the hounds! I had to look it up.
It's pretty anticlimactic this morning when I saw that tweet. I was like, oh, this is what we came out of last night with?
No, I do think absolutely. I think Kyle Lowry. I think that deal is holding up the market, as is Aaron Gordon in Orlando, and I think both teams really kind of hold the keys to kind of having that domino effect. Typically teams are going to wait around to see if they can be a part of the bigger